In this webinar, I'm going to talk about the three benefits of investing in oil and natural gas and the potential and opportunity it presents to investors. I promise this webinar will be short, to the point, and will not include a lot of fluff. A few disclosures before I begin. I'm not an attorney, nor am I a CPA. However, I will briefly be talking about potential tax benefits you may receive when investing in oil and natural gas. During this webinar, I will be sharing my stories, thoughts, and opinions. For compliance purposes, I will also be reading directly from company-approved material. Now let's begin. My name is Robert Eldridge, and I will be presenting this quick webinar to you today. Just a little background on me. I've been in Las Vegas for over 24 years. After I got out of the Army, I moved here to go to UNLV, and I've been here for a while. I'm married to my wife, Michelle, and we have two dogs, Sophie and Pepper. On the weekends, we like to get out of the desert, drive up to Utah and the surrounding areas. Usually we go to Zion National Park in Utah or in Bryant Head, and we like to explore in our Jeep Cherokee with our girls. I'm very active in the community. I'm a Freemason and Shriner. In the late 1990s, I got my insurance license and became a financial planner in the early 2000s. And I'm licensed in 20 plus states, and actually 10 plus states for insurance. And I obviously run my own oil and natural gas fund. My goals today. My first goal is to explain how this oil and natural gas investment is different than similar types of investments that are on the market. I'm going to talk about the three benefits of investing in oil and natural gas. I'm going to talk about the risks, who can invest, and then finally the next steps. Who is this for? This is for people who want monthly passive income, competitive yearly yields, tax deduction, asset appreciation, long-term asset. Also, I didn't have time to actually I had time to put it in here. It just didn't look good on the slide, but also for people that are looking to diversify their portfolio. Maybe you have money in real estate or have money tied up in the market, and you're looking for an additional place to put money so that way you're diversified. This is for you. So let's talk about the industry for a little bit. The name of the company is called the Heartland Group, and they're based in Texas. The Heartland Group has a unique business plan that I will share with you, and that has been extremely profitable even when the price of oil has come down. For now, let's talk a little about the industry. Like any other industry, it has its highs and lows. However, the oil industry has a unique advantage. Oil is a commodity that will always be essential in society, and historically it has proven to be valuable. Properly positioned in the Permian Basin, which is in Texas, with newer technology, this commodity can provide diversified and mitigated risk opportunities for investors. The U.S. government, in an effort to achieve energy independence, enacted legislation to incentivize oil and gas investments through the offerings of considerable tax write-offs for intangible drilling costs, tangible drilling costs, and depletion of resources. The Permian Basin has been producing oil since the 1920s. Permian Basin oil production slowly crept back up to 1 million barrels per day in 2010, and then hydraulic fracturing sent production soaring. By the end of 2018, production had reached 3.8 million barrels per day, vaulting the Permian Basin into second place among the world's leading oil fields. In under a decade, and after already producing oil for 100 years, the Permian Basin production has increased by 3 million barrels per day. So, before I continue, I want to stop here for just a second to tell you a little bit about my journey with oil and natural gas. When I was a young advisor in the early 2000s, we had many wholesalers who would come by our office and would show us their oil wells, and their hope was that we would get our investors to invest in oil futures and exploration. To me, I thought it was a very risky investment because the company wasn't taking their own money and risking it. They were going to take your money and risking not hitting oil. Years later, to my surprise, I had some friends and old clients that told me that in fact they went with another broker, bought into the investment, and lost money. In the next 3 slides, I will outline why this scenario does not apply to you. Heartland's corporate strategy takes advantage of mature properties, divested by larger oil and gas firms who are now concentrating on new, higher risk drilling opportunities. Mid-sized and major oil companies with a higher overhead and production costs have changed their focus to more capital-intensive new drilling, international, and offshore projects. So in other words, the Heartland Group identifies underperforming oil and natural gas resources and are not in the business of oil and natural gas exploration. Hold on for a second, it actually gets a lot better. Higher projects. Heartland as a private oil and gas entity does not carry the elevated overhead of larger oil and gas companies. Thus, lower development and per barrel lifting costs allow us to achieve higher profitability from wells that have fallen out of favor with their current owners. So in other words, because the resource has already been developed, the Heartland Group saves a lot of money on exploration, drilling, laying pipe, and pumping. What this means is more money to be made by buying underperforming resources. Now, once the resource is identified and purchased, Heartland then gets to work and begins developing the asset towards its full potential. They're essentially retooling and enhancing the resource to maximize production and therefore profitability for the company and for you. The ultimate goal is to increase profitability up to 300%. Drilling, how it's done. Heartland's operators and engineers use proven techniques combined with new technologies to not only drill new projects, but to rework wells previously thought to be dry. Special drilling techniques include 3D image seismic structure map analysis and Trinco 3D seismic program data analysis to identify where to specifically drill. With the assistance of our strategic partners in the field, the Heartland Group leverages these advantages to the fullest. In the previous slides, I spoke about the energy industry, why Heartland, Heartland's business plan, and the nuts and bolts of purchasing, retooling the resource. Now I'm going to talk about the fun stuff, which is what's in it for you. There are two ways to make money in oil and natural gas investments. They are the equity play and the debt play. The benefits and how they make their money are a bit different. So let's start with the equity play. The investment is illiquid for 3 to 5 years. The return is approximately 12% annual premium. Also, you may receive additional tax benefits in the form of tax write-offs, and the minimum investment is $50,000. You may be asking yourself, why would anyone want to invest in an equity play and wait 3 to 5 years to receive their principal and interest? Well, the reason is quite simple. Some people have made so much money that they are looking for ways to legally write off money on their next tax bill. For these people, they get the best of both worlds. They get the nice return on their investment and the added tax benefit. Most of my clients are more interested in the debt plays. The reason is because they can choose between 12 and 36 months, and they know they are going to receive a fixed rate of return that is not tied to the stock or real estate markets. They can also invest in multiple time periods. This is by far my favorite slide. So I'm going to read it slowly when I get to the part that I really like. So how it's done. All project location Heartland has chosen to establish themselves in is intentional. As of early 2019, Heartland is participating in several projects, all of which are located in or adjacent to the Permian Basin. Choosing these locations were instrumental in setting Heartland up for success. The Permian Basin and many adjacent basins are among the most oil and gas-rich regions in the entire country, according to the EIA. This fact alone plays a central part in how we curate our projects. The next two paragraphs seal the deal for me, so I'm going to read them slowly. Heartland does not have bank loans, lines of credits, or any other such debt. We pay cash for leases and equipment, leaving the only debt as that of investors' loans. All assets are paid for, which provides a safety net for investors. In the event of a failure, Heartland has resources to satisfy investors thanks to the company's 15-to-1 asset to debt ratio. Wow, for every dollar, they have $15 put aside. Years ago, this one slide did it for me. Combine that slide with the fact that this investment has nothing to do with risky exploration but retooling mature resources with a goal of increasing production by 300% by using modern methods and technology. Oh, and by the way, the Heartland Group and the partners are invested in their projects. They are not just waiting for you to invest only your money into the projects. They have skin in the game. So this slide outlines the rates and the terms. You can choose a 12-month debt play, which pays between 8.5 paid monthly. Minimum investment is $50,000. A 24-month debt play between 8.5 and 9% paid monthly. Minimum investment 50,000. Or you can choose the Big Daddy, which is the 36-month debt play that pays between 11.5 and 12% paid monthly, and the minimum investment on that is $250,000. If you need the tax deduction and you choose to become an equity play partner, it's 3 to 5 year payout is when you're going to get your money, and it's a 12% projected. So those are the rates and terms that we can discuss on the phone, and these are subject to change too. But I gave myself some wiggle room on these. So let's talk about the risk and liquidity. This is an investment. You could lose money. The company has taken many steps to mitigate risk, but all investments, including this one, involve some level of risk. Your principal is tied up. So depending on which investment you choose, your principal may be tied up between 1 and 3 years. Do not invest with money you may need for emergencies, so be aware. Accredited investors only. The regulations are such, they're there for your protection, but you must meet certain income and net worth requirements. And again, I gave myself some wiggle room on this because everyone has some different situation. But income requirements, you must be between $100,000 and above a year. And your net worth, when you add everything up, it's got to be over $1 million. Now, having said that, you have to sign off on a form that says you are an accredited investor. So if you are that, then you are. I'm not going to show up at 3 in the morning and go through and do a forensic accounting. But the laws are there to protect you people, because there are people out there that are saying, hey, let's just take your last pennies and invest it in this. We don't want, if that's you, we don't want you. We want to make sure that you have enough money available, that you are an accredited investor, and that we're not taking your last penny. So it's there for your protection as well as ours. So to recap, the 3 benefits of investing in oil and natural gas are passive monthly income and consistent yields, investment diversification, and tax deductions. So you have a couple of choices. First option, you can invest in the equity play and become a partner and wait 3 to 5 years and make approximately 12% a year. Or the second option, which is by far the most popular, is you can sign up for a debt play and get paid monthly for at least 12-month periods. The next step is to schedule a call with me. You can simply click on the link to my calendar and pick a day and time that works best for you. And if you decide to go forward, I will email you some of the corporate paperwork and how to get started in oil and natural gas investments. And finally, I want to thank you again for attending this webinar, and I wish you all the best in life. Bye for now.